So here I am with the Unity editor open in front of me, and I have this project visible here, which is the Bootcamp project. Now, we're not going to be spending much time investigating this project. Instead, we want to get started and create our Marble Maze game. Now, in Unity, to create a new game, we need to create a new project. So to do that, I'm going to move my mouse up here to the File menu and choose File, New Project from the menu here. And this dialog appears, allowing us to create a new project. I'm going to name this project up here in the project location edit box. I'm going to name it Marble Maze Game. And we have this option here under Import the following packages. We have this option to import a number of pre-made asset packages. I'm not going to import those. I'm going to leave all of those unchecked. And instead I'm going to click Create to just create a blank new project. I'll click the Create button and Unity will exit and restart and whiz away and do whatever it needs to do. And here we are again in Unity with our blank project. Now, the first thing that I can see in front of me is this empty viewport here. We do have a scene in the project. We can see we have a blank project here. Remember that this does correspond to a project folder on the hard drive. I can get to that folder by right-clicking here in the project panel and choosing Show in Explorer. I'm not going to do that right now, but just keep in mind that most of the operations that we want to do with that project folder we will want to do from the project panel here. We don't want to go in and start fiddling around with the folders at the Windows Explorer level. I'm going to move over here to the hierarchy panel and double click on the main camera in the scene to center that in the viewport. You can see that we have this scene here, but it does not appear as an asset in the project panel. To make it so, I'm going to save the scene. I'm going to choose File, Save Scene, or press Ctrl S on the keyboard. And we have this option here to save our Unity scene. I'm going to save this as the Marble Maze scene and click Save on the dialog here. And now in the project panel we have this Marble Maze scene that we can see here. Now, the next thing that I want to do is if I click the play button on the toolbar up here, you will see in the game viewport that we have a completely blue background for our scene. Now, I don't want our scene to have a completely blue background. I want it to have a black background. So to configure this, I'm going to stop playback by pressing the play button again, move over here to the scene viewport, double click on the main camera to center it in the viewport, and I can bring up the properties for it in the object inspector. You can see here for the property background we have a color swatch. I'm going to click in that color swatch to bring up the color picker and set the background to black, like so. You can see in the camera preview here that we have a completely black background now for our scene. If I press play on the toolbar, and you can see here in the viewport that our scene now has a completely black background as I intended. The next thing that I want to do is to disable the ambient light. Now, by default, Unity puts an ambient light into the scene which casts uniform lighting throughout all of the level. This has the effect of making our models look a little bit flat. So I want to disable ambient lighting. Now, to do that, I'm going to move up here to the Edit menu, choose Edit, and click Render Settings. And the Render Settings menu appears here in the Object Inspector, and for ambient light you can see the value is grey. We're casting out a dark grey light. I'm going to change this to black to completely disable ambient lighting and close the color picker dialog here. The last thing that I want to do as an initial setup phase is to enable deferred lighting. This will allow us to achieve the best graphical results for our project. The deferred lighting is not supported on all platforms, in particular mobile platforms, but this project I would assume is going to be released on a Windows or Mac PC. So to handle that situation, I'm going to move up here to the Edit menu, choose Edit, Project Settings, and click Player. You'll see here in the Object Inspector we have some settings for our player. For the render path, you will see that we have forward specified here. I'm going to click on that drop down and change it to deferred lighting to set our project to use deferred lighting. So there we have just set up the main settings for our project, and now we are ready to press on.